On this week's show, Dark Phoenix, Vader's Vision, and Mera swim solo. No? Okay. It's Previews World Weekly, and it's happening right now. What's up, Previews World? It's Wednesday. It's New Comic Book Day, which means it's time for Previews World Weekly. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
And I'm Thea, and we're here every week to remind you guys to get involved in the world of comics.
And you're back.
I am.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
Do you feel better at least?
I do.
Good.
I'm dying for the moment.
You're not dying for the moment. So, okay, we have like 30 minutes before before you collapse.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll make it work. Well, hopefully this will make you feel better. We watched the Hellboy trailer earlier, right? What did you think? Because I know that's your jam.
I think it looks good.
Okay, yeah, all right.
I mean, honestly, I like Hellboy, so give me more Hellboy, I'm totally going to complain.
Right, yeah.
So it looks very pretty.
Yes, it does, right.
And I mean, that's all I can really say, obviously, because we don't really know
that much about it, right?
Yeah.
I was very amused by the gore.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I missed that with the original Del Toro ones.
Fair enough, yeah.
But like the amount of gore was very amusing. I don't think I quite understood like the whole, we talked about this before, rebooting it.
Right.
But I kind of get it now, I think. Like this trailer really kind of sold me on that. So
yeah,
I'm all
it refreshes it, which is nice.
Yeah. Did you get to catch the Shazam trailer?
I did.
Yeah? What did you think of that one?
I think that looks good too.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Shazam was never my thing.
Right, yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm only getting the trailer stuff.
Right,
I never read it. I don't know much about it.
I think that's probably normal for most people, I'd say. Yeah.
Probably true.
Yeah.
But it looks like a lot of fun. It looks like a super lighthearted superhero thing, which is, I think we need a lot of that in
we
life.
need more of that. Yeah, right. Actually, I was on the fence. That actually put me over.
Good.
Like I'm into it. Like I actually think I finally got it. Like I was kind of like,
yeah, I know you were definitely like,
yeah, this isn't the Shazam I know. But like now I was like, okay, I see where they're going with this. Now I know we make it a point not to say we hate things. But that Dark Phoenix trailer.
Yeah.
It just I grew up on X-Men. Yeah. It just makes me go ick when I see like Mystique like comforting Jean Grey.
Yeah.
It's just like that's not
those characters.
Those aren't those
and
characters.
Even I know that, and I was never the biggest.
Right.
Like X-Men was always my favorite, but I never actually read a lot of it. I watched the cartoons and things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a little try-hardy, I guess.
A little try-hardy, yeah.
But it, again, looks beautiful.
It looks good, yeah.
And if you know nothing about X-Men, then you don't care about the weird character interactions, and by all means, go see it, because it's going to be cool. But
well, I want to point out, X-Men's one of those things, like, typically, the interpretations they've had in other mediums have been pretty accurate to the characters' dynamics, which makes these movies just a little bit more
infuriating.
Yeah, it's just like the cartoons have done this. Like, I'm not even just talking about the '90s cartoons, like X-Men Evolution, like all the other stuff. Like
they stuck to it.
They stuck to
the characters as they have been written.
Yeah,
which is, I think, important when it comes to a story, that you take the character as it's been written.
Yeah,
and not just run off with it, its name. Like, just put the name on it and do whatever you want.
Right, yeah.
Which has happened to a lot of things that
happens
I like.
all the time, yeah. Actually, I think that's a really good point. Like, I think when people get upset, it's not even so much that they change plot details.
Right.
It's when they change the characters.
Right.
And like I think that's kind of like always the misunderstanding is like, oh, you changed the story to this. It's like, no, it's not even a story.
And not even visually, I don't think. Like, it doesn't bother me if a character doesn't look the way I imagined them, or the exact way they looked in the comic book. I feel like artistic license can be taken there and whatever. But when you change the personality or the character interactions or like these very key things that are part of the story, that it becomes problematic.
Very much. And I'm with you on that 100%. And like, there we go. We solved it for you. Fox, get your act together. Actually, I guess you don't have to worry about it after this. Speaking of X-Men, there's tons of comics out this week, and of course X-Men is one of them. There's always X-Men books out every single week. So check this out. Anna Mia is here, and she's going to show you some of the titles that are hitting store shelves today.
What's up, Previews World? Mia here, and I'm going to give you a look at some of the new titles in store this week. Here's what's at comic shops. we're just getting started. The world of comics has even more to offer, so stop at a shop already, and you might just find your new favorite thing. See ya!
Thanks, Mia, and of course that's only a taste of what's coming out this week. If you want to check out the full lineup, go on over to PREVIEWSworld.com/new releases to see the entire list. What are you looking forward to?
Astro Hustle.
Astro Hustle?
Yeah, it's from Dark Horse, and shameless plug, I got a chance to interview the artist.
Cool.
And he gave us a rundown of like what is a great cover. And one of the things he pointed out was that like it's an homage to like 70s sci-fi.
Absolutely is.
70s, early 80s sci-fi, I'd say. So like definitely Star Wars, of course, but Star Trek, Flash Gordon, like, yeah. And
Buckaroo Banzai.
Buckaroo Banzai, yeah, absolutely. And so it's just a fun concept. It's just piracy in space. I think we talked about this before. Like, it's just an easy sell. Like, everybody likes space pirates.
It's true.
And
if you
like,
don't, you're probably wrong.
The really impressive thing is I actually came across a bunch of pull quotes for the actual book itself. Yeah. One of them is Nicholas Meyer, who actually wrote Wrath of Khan. The other one is Dave Gibbons, who's the artist behind Watchmen. Like they got co-signed by some like pretty stellar people, and of course, actual Flash Gordon himself, whose name I'm blanking on, Sam Jones, co-signed it. So
nice.
Yeah, I just.
Solid lineup.
The book was made for me.
Yeah, apparently.
So what are you into this week?
Eclipse, number 13.
Okay.
So they're onto a new story arc right now, but the concept behind this was really cool to me, is that there was some huge, terrifying solar event that ended up making the sun completely deadly to humans. And there's like a new villain in the new story arc who's trying to basically take over the source of power for the humans that are still remaining, living in sort of like nocturnal underground kind of thing. Yeah. But
post-apocalyptic, would you say? Does that meet the requirement, the Thea requirement?
Would you know that? That's the thing, you know.
Yeah, that's a cool one actually. Like, I remember reading the early solicitations for that and just sort of like, that's actually pretty interesting. Kind of like, I don't know if you ever saw the movie Sunshine, but like the premise is like, they're trying to like prevent the sun from like
taking us out.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. And this is like kind of like the aftermath of that, which is kind of neat. Like this endless winter, I guess, is what would happen, or something along those lines. Yeah. So, also out this week, Deadly Class. I'm going to openly admit I'm a huge fan of the series, but I'm also way behind on it.
Oh no.
Like they took a break, and then therefore I kind of like fell behind. So I'm about like 5 or 6 issues behind. But it's a great book, and also that Wes Craig cover is awesome. Like, I just love that. So.
Yes, that is some really sweet artwork.
And of course, the show's on Sci-Fi now, but you should read the comic, because the comic is also really, really cool. And
always read the comic.
I feel like the comic's actually probably going to wrap up soon, so don't quote me on that, but that's what it sounds like. What else are you into this week?
So Ronan Island comes out this week, issue number 1, and this is from Greg Pak, who of course did X-Men and Hulk and a whole slew of other really major titles that everybody knows and loves. And the artist, Yanis Milianis, who was actually born in Maryland. Looks like he does some really cool stuff. Yeah, he's born in Maryland, raised in Greece.
Okay, all right.
Very, very Greek name. And this is another really cool concept. There's a mysterious attack that wipes out the major cities of 19th century Japan, Korea, and China. And the remaining population finds this hidden island, and they start building a new society together. And the plot of this guy starts out with like, there's a new shogun in town and he's asking for payment to protect the people from this new attack, of course, which is apparently a mutated horde of some sort that's threatening to wipe out the remainder of society. And these two young warriors, a young girl from Korea and a young kid from Japan, have to band together and sort of like overcome their cultural differences.
Nice.
To, face the great evils of the world.
That's cool. Actually, I didn't actually know that much, but I saw the artwork. Artwork looks great.
Yes.
Like the artwork looks really nice.
That was definitely like what drew me in first.
Yeah. And also supernatural. That's your jam, right?
Nope, totally not.
Totally not. But actually, I appreciate also the idea of like someone trying to strong arm an entire town into paying them. That's like that's very Kurosawa. So I'm all for that. I'm all about that. Also out this week. If you're a fan of Black Hammer and Jeff Lemire's Black Hammer universe, Black Hammer 45 is out. They're doing very much a Golden Age superhero thing. If you're not familiar with the Black Hammer concept, it is Lemire's take on superheroes, and he goes backwards and forward. It's just kind of like building out this extended universe that he's creating. It's Dark Horse. It's out this week. Also out this week, Grant Morrison and Liam Sharp's Green Lantern #5. I'm also behind on that, but I'm going to read it. I love it. It's Grant Morrison. Liam Sharp's stuff looks great. It reminds me of old school Neil Adams.
Right.
Definitely check that out. And
finally, we have Darth Vader.
Yeah.
So this is Vader Dark Visions #1, and this looks really cool. It's basically getting into sort of the backstory of Darth Vader in a way. So they're gonna give you new ideas of what you can think of behind the background of this.
Right. The man behind the mask.
The man behind the mask. Yeah, I mean, we obviously got a little bit of that in the movies.
Right, of course.
Right,
yeah,
but I'm sure there are plenty of people who are curious, and they say that there are some corners of the galaxy so dark and desperate that even Vader can be a knight in shining armor. So
interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I'm very curious about this. There was a little bit of controversy about the book itself.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like a little bit of creative reshuffling. But I will point out, because I saw a few people saying, like, they're not going to read it now. The team that's on it is actually really good. And also, if I remember correctly, that's a Greg Smallwood cover, which is always, I love Greg Smallwood as an artist. He does Vampironica. That's great stuff. Now we're going to take a look at the news. Thea's here. Thea's back. And now she's going to give us what went on in the world of comics in the last 7 days. Check this out.
10 years later, a landmark moment in Archie Comics history is being revisited. Archie: The Married Life 10th Anniversary, a sequel to the headline-making 2009 Archie Wedding storyline, launches this August. The original storyline, written by Michael Uslan, answered Riverdale's longest-running question: will Archie marry Betty or Veronica? Fans were treated to 2 alternate worlds that explored each possibility, and Uslan's sequel picks up both stories 10 years later in a new 6-issue miniseries, so readers can see how much life has changed for Archie, his family, and the rest of Riverdale. Archie: The Married Life 10th Anniversary #1 arrives in comic shops on August 7th.
It just so happens, I actually remember when that book came out. Like, I was actually working at a comic shop. Yeah, I feel like it was the beginning of, like, Archie's been on a string of experimental, projects, and I think this was, like, the beginning of them. So it's cool that they're, commemorating 10 years.
They're bringing it back, and we get to see what's happened in the meantime, right?
All right.
And that is, like, always the burning question: which one does he end up with? And I love that they did both.
Yeah, right, yeah. It's like everybody's happy with that.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Get to see how it pans out differently. Yeah, it was a cool story.
For sure. Next up, DC has announced a new hardcover edition of the hot collected editions of Batman the White Knight and Mr. Miracle, available exclusively to comic shops. Batman the White Knight hardcover collects the 8-issue miniseries written and illustrated by Sean Murphy and a new cover by Murphy. After years of epic battles, the Dark Knight finally finds a way to cure the twisted mind of his archenemy. The Joker is now sane. The clown prince of crime has now changed his ways, fighting for good in Gotham City, and it may just cause Batman to go over the edge of his own sanity. The Mr. Miracle hardcover collects the 12-issue miniseries written by Tom King with art by Mitch Gerrits, and a cover by Nick Darrington. You might say Scott Free has everything, so why isn't it enough? Mr. Miracle has mastered every illusion, achieved every stunt, pulled off every trick, except one. He has never escaped death. Is it even possible? Our hero is going to have to kill himself if he wants to find out. Both of these will arrive in new dust-jacketed hardcover editions with their brand new or alternate cover art, and are slated to be available on sale on May 15th.
Nice.
Super cool.
Yeah, and I need to read both of those, actually. I'm not going to pretend. Batman White Knight has been recommended to me by so many people, and Mr. Miracle is like a critical darling. So, darling? I said that weird. But, so it's cool. It's actually really cool that, first of all, it's ours. It's our exclusive.
Yes.
And so DC's doing this hardcover. I know DC announced recently a bunch of some shifts in the way that they function as a company. But this is part of that. One of the things was they were going to emphasize comic shop retailers. And to that, that's a good thing.
Yes.
So,
yeah,
more of that DC, more exclusives for shops.
Absolutely, for sure. Big shinies. Next up, Boom Studios has announced Once and Future #1, an extra-sized issue kicking off an all-new limited series from New York Times bestselling writer Kieran Gillen and artist Dan Mora. The book explores the mysteries of the past, the complicated truths of our history, and the power of family to save the day, especially if that family has secret bunkers of ancient weapons and decades of experience hunting the greatest monsters in Britain's history. When a group of nationalists use an ancient artifact to bring a villain from Arthurian myth back from the dead to gain power, ex-monster hunter Bridget McGuire pulls her unsuspecting grandson Duncan, a museum curator, into a world of magic and mysticism to defeat a legendary threat. Now the two must navigate the complicated history of the McGuire family and combat the deadly secrets of England's past that threaten its very future. Once and Future #1, featuring a cover by Dan Mora, will be available for sale in August. This looks super cool.
It actually does look cool, yeah.
And conceptually, I am in.
yeah. I know people get all up. I actually hadn't peeped the press release, but I know people get kind of up in arms about the politics of things. But the idea that it's like, this nationalist group who resurrects like this myth. And
we've never seen that before.
Right, yeah. But also unpacking the complicated history of this. I think that's really fascinating.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I love the history of Britain itself has been something that's interesting to me. And, Arthurian legend. Yeah. What? Come on.
Right,
it's always fun. So solid.
Yeah, really solid. Yeah, Kieran Gillen, I know that's your guy. And Dan Mora, who did Klaus. So yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be really well written and have great artwork.
Absolutely.
Into it.
Last but not least, everyone is a target. That's the message from Marvel for what seems to be a massive Venom story for summer 2019. Greg Land drew the promo image, which features Marvel heroes like Captain America, Spider-Man, Captain Marvel, and more tied up in a symbiote-like substance. Venom is pictured menacingly above the heroes. Writer Donny Cates said that he and artist Ryan Stegman will be taking 3 issues off from the War of the Realms tie-in series to get ahead on the biggest Venom event of all time. Stay tuned on PREVIEWSworld.com and all other Previews social media to see what more may come of this announcement. Yeah. That looks like a really fun concept.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's been having a ball with the Venom character as of late. And I've never been the biggest fan of Venom, but I definitely like the idea of the symbiote.
Yes.
And Donny Cates also, I'm a fan of his work. So, I'm interested in an event that revolves around that, especially if it encompasses the entire Marvel universe.
Yeah.
It's
got a heck of a lineup of heroes right there.
Basically, And the symbiote conceptually is just Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That's really what it is. And if you play that up really well, you can have a lot of fun with that. So I'm into it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Thea.
Absolutely.
Welcome back again. I just needed a segue, so I said that again. Of course, comics aren't the only thing that arrives at your local comic shop every single week. Natasha's here, and she's going to show you what's inside the Previews toy chest. Take it away, Natasha.
Hey Previews World, Natasha here, and I'm going to give you a look at some of the new toys and collectibles in stores today. Here's your Previews toy chest for the week of March 6, 2019. Want to see more? Be sure to check out Talking Toys, our weekly show that spotlights new collectibles on their way to your friendly local comic shop. Just head over to PREVIEWSworld.com/talkingtoys to find out more.
And there are more toys available at your local comic shop. Be sure to check out PREVIEWSworld.com/new releases for more. Was there anything in particular eyeballing?
That Ace Ventura figure. Oh my gosh. Anything Ace Ventura, I am down. For sure, Jim Carrey is the reason I have so many weird faces.
Oh, okay. And a little origin story there.
Right, yeah. My boyfriend and I we both make really stupid, rubbery face, goofy looking faces
Straight
all the time. And we were both it's definitely because we watched way too many Ace Ventura and Jim Carrey movies growing up.
Right. We'll admit that this is going to turn into a Jim Carrey conversation for sure. But I will admit the other day I was at the barbershop actually, and it just so happened that Dumb and Dumber was on.
Good.
And the entire room was mesmerized. It was
locked into that movie.
Everybody was just watching it Yeah, it was like really interesting. It was very weird, but also it just brought back a lot of memories. It was just like I used to love this movie.
Solid. I think recently there was also a cosplayer that we know that did a really amazing version of with the 2 spears in the leg, just like freaking out.
Oh, from Nature Calls.
Yeah.
Or whatever the one where he's in Africa.
I'm terrible at remembering which one is which at this point. Yeah, Nature Calls.
Yeah.
So, but he did this great version of it, and it's just like Ace Ventura's been popping out of the woodwork again recently, and I love it.
We're in the middle of a '90s like nostalgia wave,
true,
right? So it's probably overdue.
80s and 90s.
80s and 90s. Yeah. So I'm into it.
Sure.
And we have another giveaway this week, right?
Of course, as always, a toy giveaway. We don't have them in the studio with us, but we are giving away a Harley and a Joker. They're both action figures, and they're both very cool, I promise. So comment below on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're watching us. Let us know what your favorite storyline is for Harley and Joker, or Harley aside from Joker. Let us know. And we'll take entries until next week's show, and we'll pick a random winner.
I like the aside from Joker, just to point that out.
One or the other.
Whatever works
or
for you.
Or both together.
Yeah.
Whatever you're into,
it's
for
cool
sure.
because both figures are part of the DC Essential line, and it really is like the intention of that is to like do the classic versions, the ones that people arguably the ones people always recognize.
The more iconic versions, for sure.
So,
Absolutely. And of course we have last week's winner, and this is the winner of the 2 Alien figures, and it's Rob Gorman. Rob Gorman, you're our winner. So we'll contact you about those guys.
Yeah, those are actually really cool. You weren't here for those, but those things almost stole those from you, Rob, so you better be happy we actually gave them to you. So now we're going to check out a trailer. This is Mira, Tidebreaker from DC Comics, and when we come back, we'll talk about it a little bit.
We live in the shadow of Atlantis. I've been subject to their rule my whole life. Everyone in Zebel has. My mother was a queen, but she'd hate to see what's happened to her realm. We have to take our kingdom back. I might have to act and dress like a princess. But if Zebel is to be free, then the Atlantean heir apparent must die. It's just there's something about Arthur. Something special.
That was Mira, Tidebreaker from DC Comics, or more specifically DC Zoom, /DC Inc. It's the premise seems to be with this line of books is to do a YA thing.
Yeah.
And like they have a Raven one, which I know Raven's yours, right? That's your
She's
thing.
my girl.
That's your girl. And they do Super Sons, and it's like it's a lot of it's the Teen Titans characters, but it's also a mix of like more youthful takes on some of the.
And this book looks gorgeous.
Yeah,
that artwork is like really, really pretty.
Yeah. No, I like Johnny pointed out earlier the pastels, but the
use of color.
The use of color is actually pretty impressive.
Very cool.
Yeah, so check that out. That arrives March 27th at your local comic shop. And now we're going to do the Social Swamp thing. It's everybody's favorite segment, I think. We asked you guys whether or not you're going to see Captain Marvel opening weekend, and you told us. Well, you took our poll. But on top of that, you guys blew up our comment section with some really rude comments. Ooh. But we're not going to get into that, but we are going to talk a little bit more about this, and we're going to show you the results of the poll. So check this out, Social Swamp time.
So we put 3 different polls out on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, right? And it was all the same question, whether or not you guys were going to go see Captain Marvel in theaters.
Right, opening week,
right? And the results were pretty interesting.
Yeah.
The Facebook poll was the only one where most of you guys said that you weren't going to go see it.
Yeah, which was actually surprising, yeah.
It was 42% yes and 58% nah. Nah,
right.
But that was very interesting to me because the other 2 are overwhelmingly the opposite. So both YouTube and Twitter, you guys have 63 and 61% yes.
Yeah. And I want to say, I think if I remember correctly, the Facebook poll was like the largest sample size.
Interesting.
It was like something like almost like 10,000 people. The second largest was the Twitter one, and the YouTube one was kind of dinky. I'm not going to lie; it was something like 30 people or something like that.
Fair enough.
But the largest sample sizes were, of course, Twitter and Facebook. So there's a reason we did this, right? There's been a lot of talk about Captain Marvel, and I think it's important to recognize a troll when you see it. Yeah. And look, this was a troll. This was kind of a troll. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to sit here and I will openly admit that, we saw the conversation people were having, and we're like, well, this is easy bait to dangle in front of people. Let them talk. Let them fight. you know, I don't know if you're following any of this. I know you try to keep away from a lot of this, and understandably so.
I don't like the negativity.
I don't like the negativity either. And like, truthfully, it's kind of ruining the movie for me at this point.
Oh,
you know, like
sad.
I'm going to end up seeing it, I know, but it's probably going to be one of those Ghostbuster situations where I'm probably going to need to distance myself from all the chatter, you know, before I actually watch it. So
I already have tickets for Thursday night.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Okay,
it's happening.
I will rely on your reaction because we seem to like the same thing, so I'm into that. You know, it's dumb.
All right, so
dumb.
Since I haven't seen any of the comments, what's the negativity?
So, all right, I will try to make this as abbreviated as possible because it's really convoluted.
Of course.
But the concept here is that, like, apparently Brie Larson made a statement that turned off a sizable portion of comic book fans and men, right? Now, here's the thing about that. The thing that she said, that everybody's saying she said, and I'm not even gonna get into this, but like what she said exactly, but the thing that she said, she did not actually say.
Oh, good.
Actually, I guess I have to say what it is. She made a comment about like how Wrinkle in Time is not for white men. And it wasn't even about like Captain Marvel. Like,
it's completely different subject matter.
But also, she walked back that statement immediately after she said that to like point out that she's not discriminating against anybody.
Right.
It's just that certain movies for certain demographics.
Yes, are made for.
For certain demographics, which is
doesn't mean you can't watch it or enjoy it.
Yeah.
But you know the artistic intent behind a thing still exists.
And so so that's trolling part one, right?
Great.
Now, like not her, but necessarily, but like how people just kind of turn what she said into something else.
Of course.
Trolling part two is that every media site online, right, decided to run with this idea, this notion that trolls, right, which is the magic word now, right? Trolls ascended onto Rotten Tomatoes and brought down the review score for Captain Marvel. That's not true. The truth is that like they brought down the audience anticipation score, which is something completely different.
Sure.
And ultimately has no bearing on the final Rotten Tomatoes score.
Right.
So everybody's lying.
Yeah.
Like
everybody's making stuff up.
Everybody's making stuff up. Everybody's got half-truths that they're throwing around.
Yeah.
And I just, why does this have to be like this? You know?
The world is a very dramatic place.
Yeah, and it's just, and especially over a character that like, look, I no shade to Captain Marvel. I know she has like a bunch of fans, like they call themselves the Carol Corps. I'm fully aware of you guys. I read Kelly Sue's book. I remember it very well. Like, but the character, in terms of like pop culture, like importance, the character was never that big, you know? And so like, but people are dying on this hill. And also, you guys are so full of it because like you're going to see the movie anyway.
Let's be real. We're all nerds. We want to see the cool superhero stuff, so you're going to go see it.
So, not to be too abrasive, but it's just sort of like we're supposed to enjoy these things.
Yeah.
And, between people who are just like jumping into this because they want to, just to stir the pot, and like media sites, I'm not even gonna name who, but like pretty much all of them at this point.
Oh no.
Like, like getting in there to also stir the pot is just creating this vicious cycle.
Yeah.
And we gotta ask yourselves, like, what's the point of this?
Yeah, there is none.
There's no
point.
point.
It's a waste of energy.
Actually, the point is to watch the movie.
Yeah, just go have fun.
Yeah. I just like, I'm somewhat exasperated by this. I have to be honest because I've been seeing it like kind of popping up all week.
Of course.
Part of my job is to kind of follow the social media stuff, and I try to create some sort of distance from it. But this particular thing was like, the MCU is my jam.
Yeah.
It's been my thing for a while, like, and yeah.
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, I think that's the best word for it. So. Just relax, guys.
Yeah.
Just enjoy the movie.
Exactly.
And if you don't, that's fine too.
Yeah,
Whatever.
you're allowed to have your opinion, but
Yeah.
don't let it take over your life.
Yeah, please. Just don't do it. And that's coming from people who are in the comic game.
Yeah.
Like, like, come on, guys.
Where it is our life.
It is our life,
Yeah.
right. So, anyway, shifting gears. Thanks again, guys. This is PREVIEWSworld Weekly. Did we have anything else that we had to run through this week?
Oh, we have the old comic shop shout out.
Yes.
So we want to let you guys know that we want to know what your favorite local comic shop is. And you should let us know on whatever social media you can find us. Use the hashtag #SupportYourLCS, and we could shout you out on the next show.
Yeah. And we don't have a store to spotlight this week, but we'll be back next week with another store to spotlight. But outside of that, enjoy the week. Go catch whatever movie you want to watch, And this is PREVIEWSworld Weekly. I'm Troy Jeffrey Allen.
And I'm Thea, and we'll see you at the spinner rack.
watching Previews World Weekly. If you like the show, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future episodes.